Who are the prospects? That is the question most of us heisters have had on our minds since the introduction of the Dragon Files. If you didn't know, the Dragon Files are a series of small ARGs where everyone's beloved dragon has emerged from hiding and is now assisting Shade in locating the rest of the Payday gang that has since gone missing. Through his investigation, he has come across 3 promising leads, otherwise known as prospects. Which leads to the question, who is prospect number 3? What if I told you the answer may have been hidden under our noses and hinted at numerous times across the course of several months? The first prospect being Clover, finding her through a specific order of Car-4 rifles modded with an Irish flag and 3-leaf clover on them, and prospect number 2 being recently released, Houston, upon reviewing the data from a server hack in the Boys in Blue heist, revealing a conversation between the Chief of Police and Concord talking about a specific prisoner. To start off with my mad ramblings, we'll start with the mysterious Easter egg in Fear and Greed. I believe this to be at the center and most recent of the findings. The Easter egg I speak of isn't in the game as of yet. It has been mysteriously disabled as far as we know. Why? Who knows? If you're a part of the Payday community Discord, you may have seen a recent conversation uncovering this discovery. Looking through the files of this game, however, it was noticed that there's an achievement file, which all it really conveyed was stonk_VHS tapes. So we did some digging in-game. We couldn't find any of the tapes in the level itself, but upon further inspection we did find the model for it in the files, and a sound when it's picked up. The detection for when we grab them all is labeled PP found all tapes. Now if we go back to our first prospect and we see where her file is located, we see it's actually labeled DLC PP 0003. So internally, Starbreeze uses the code PP to signify a heister, meaning this VHS tape Easter egg could also be related to a heister. Now you may ask, what does PP mean in reference to what all is going on? Personally, I'm of the mind that Starbreeze used PP to shorten the syllables of prospect, to not only help shorten the conversation because it would be referenced a bunch during development, but to also try to sneak stuff in reference to the Dragon Files in game without standing out. Also, it's just fun to say PP. Now, as for who this heister could be, well, that takes us to the Gateway Report website. On September 12th, they reported on this very VHS tape, and you can see that it's in-game, but also references in the article the production of cassettes. This article talks about the mystery of why Bindcom is investing in these and how they found out during an ayahuasca trip in the Arizona. And that will figure out what it means in 6 months. I'll put that tentatively down as a potential timeline to when the secret heister is coming. But most importantly in here is how these phases out in the early 2000s. Well, actually, they peaked in terms of relevance in the 90s. And what else happened in the early 90s? Hotline Miami. Hell, one of the main aspects of switching between levels in that game is that you use a VHS tape. Some of you may think that this is a bit odd to bring up the Gateway Report. However, it wouldn't be the first time they secretly leaked a heister. Look at this ad from 9 Green Cleaners. 9 Green Cleaners has one of the greatest household service crews in the greater New York area. We are in and out before you even know it and can expertly perform any services from cleaning, laundry, organization, varnishing, extermination, and reupholstering. An acrostic cipher snuck right under our noses and was put in well before the release of Clover. Moving on past that, we go back to Boys in Blue. During stealth, if you listen long enough, you can see the 2 cops outside, colloquially known as the BJ Boys. Talk about an incident happening where Russian monsters were brutally murdered in all types of methods, one of which being with a door, and they've never seen anything like it since Miami in the 90s. The cops are terrified and hope it isn't the same person as before. This brings us to the Dragon Files, the last one. Being about finding the location of Houston at the very end showed us a sneak peek of who's to come next. All we saw is that there were some thugs down south that had got torn through in some sort of bathroom. It can't be a large majority of heisters, as this isn't their MO, except for 3, John Wick, Sangriz, and Jacket. But the key word is down south. That really aims it at Jacket or Sangriz. But this is when we use some information outside of what the game and videos have shown us, because on livestream, Almir said that the next Dragon Files have been recorded, and said that we are going to scream. And knowing the popularity difference between the two heisters that came in third place in the community poll, I think it's obvious who we are going to scream for in this matchup. And the cherry on top is that Almir a while back told us that in December, he himself had a beer with Dennis from Denneton Games and talked about video games amongst other things. And there is no way throughout that conversation that Jacket did not come up as a possibility to return to Payday 3. And you might be saying, well, this sounds convenient when you line it up like this, but I'm sure if you looked hard enough, there's teases to do many other heisters. And the answer is, unfortunately, there isn't. Outside of all these Jacket references, I can only find one other reference to another heister, which is Clover's voice line that references John Wick. Of course, if you can think of anything else, I'd love to hear it. We have a section in our Discord dedicated to CrimeNet and its viewers. So if you have anything worth viewing, be sure to post it there, y'all. Links in the description. Or, I could be wrong, and this whole thing could just be for an achievement. Only time will tell, heisters.